what I like about the way you approach the day trading side is that you are marrying the technicals with a catalyst. A catalyst is something that seems to be very important in your eyes. So, my guess is you're curating your day trading list of stocks based on, like you, I think, actually even mentioned the earnings, if they reported earnings or if they, I don't know, CEO is getting replaced, or an actual major story is the fuel that you need to see to make sure that stock is in play. Is that kind of how you're approaching your day trading watch list?
So like when I make a day trading list, I usually have baskets. All
Mm-hmm.
right. And so I call them tiers, right? So you got three baskets or three tiers. Your tier one is like, okay, you have stocks that have catalysts out right now or catalysts out recently. Those stocks are going to move independent to what the market is showing. Meaning, if Roblox or Airbnb or whatever is like a recent kind of earnings winner, and there's been quite a few, Goose Island, or there's been so many. This has been a good kind of market for earnings lately. I'm just kind of bringing up a list over here. Well, those stocks are going to do what they're going to do because they have a fundamental catalyst. So they have something that's like a push.
Yep.
And so whether the market is down, and we're not in like that period of the market where you're getting crashy days, right? Like today, like it seemed like the end of the world, but really like the SPY was down 0.2%, IWM was down 0.3%, the QQQs were down 1%. Like that's not really, right?
Right.
Theoretically, like that's not really like the end of the world kind of thing. It's
No.
not really anything. It doesn't actually have an indication of anything. So like when you have days like that, these stocks that have catalysts, earnings breakouts, hot chart pattern plus earnings breakout, like those are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to cruise no matter what's happening in the market. And it can be from the most unexpected things. Like I had a big grip on this PLBY the other day, and
Mm-hmm.
like that's like this is like a classic. Like this is not even like a well-known stock, right? But you have like a chart breakout. They had a big earnings beat. Like that's going to be something whether the market's up or down. Like that particular day, like it's gonna cruise no matter what. Its volume is going to be not linked to what's happening in the market. Its order flow is not going to be linked to what's happening in the overall market because that specific day, everybody is reacting to what's happening in the news of that particular name. And you still have to use the technicals to do it because there's been a lot of stocks that have, right, like great earnings, so you would think, and then they tank that day and vice versa. I've seen that happen a couple times, like Etsy or something, like Etsy a couple weeks ago. It had its earnings out, it spiked down like the first candle, and they completely reversed and popped like 50 points that day,
Right.
right? So, you can only put so much into reading the earnings because we're not, right? Like, we don't work at Goldman Sachs. Like,
Right.
I don't have a MBA from Wharton. And I'll tell you what, like most MBAs from Wharton, they can read the earnings, but right, they're not going to be able to predict the stock price regardless.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's like the catch-22 of it all. You can be so good at reading the news, but like you may not be able to pair them together. So that's like the catch-22. So those catalysts are going to be really important, especially as we get like into this market where we're getting more and more extended. The
Mm-hmm.
breadth changes and it narrows. Where like if you don't have a catalyst, then we have a narrowing of the market right now where like really it's like 10 stocks that are leading the market. And then
Right.
every other stock is essentially kind of like in the dumper,
Yeah.
minus your pump and dumps from Discord and stuff like that. And you'll always have those. There'll always be a kid with pimples and a Rolex, using Thinkorswim and claims he makes $2 million from 1,000. But beyond those things, you need the catalyst in certain markets. But in hot markets, they actually goose it so much more.
Hey, it's Evan here. I hope you enjoyed this clip from our full-length interview. Don't forget, if you want to hear this entire episode with even more insights from our awesome guest, you can find it by searching the Smarter Trading Podcast in iTunes or on your favorite podcast app. You can also find all of the show notes for this episode by heading to thetraderisk.com/podcast. Thanks for tuning in.